This is Professor Wendy May, and this is going to be our intro to our final project. And the final project is going to entail a culmination of all the projects we've done up until now. Does this mean you have to create each one anew for this project? No. All I want is basically each one of your projects, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, to all come into one big project, if you will. So what we're going to do is you're going to start a whole new project, and you're going to import the movie files of all the other projects into this one, set them up with a beginning, and go ahead and nest all your movies right along the timeline and come up with an ending, and that's how that's going to work. So remember, the first project we used a narrative, if you will, of just 10 photos, and some of you had more, and that's fine to include. And our second one was all about masking, okay, especially animated masks, and working with maybe solid objects and solid layers, okay. Our third project was a story in which we used the puppet pin tool, and we also used our sketcher and smoother. Remember when we had the positioning come flying in and zooming around, okay? And our fourth one dealt primarily with text, okay? A lot of different text presets, and then some fractal noise, masking, solid layers, if you will, along with Colorama. And then ultimately our Star Trek Beam Me Up effect with the blurred text zooming in from tracking, if you will, and scaling and opacity all coming together to show what the text really is. Our fifth project was the carousel, where we had the picture spinning around. Okay, you can see it here. And also it had the animated cue. I like having it like start over here and watching it kind of, okay, I'm going to have it in this hand. Whoa. Okay. But you understand it's the cue. Anyway, the last one is the one you just finished, and it has to do with the green screen. Now, I know some of you probably weren't able to download the footage or upload your own footage, and I perfectly understand that. And if you didn't do as great with that one, because I won't see it until after this video is posted, if you wanted to leave that part off and just use the flame and the shield, if you will, you can go ahead and create a stationary object in which they use those items, and I will demonstrate that with one of my action figures here, and then you can put that in there in place. And of course it's going to have the 3D lighting, and it's going to have the camera effect. And the camera effect is always kind of funny because really we're a 2D object in this 3D plane, if you will, and to have the camera move around, we actually see that we're only one-sided, maybe two-sided if we flipped around to the back. Anyway, okay, this is what the final project will entail. I hope you had a great time this semester. I know it was rather crazy with being on ground and then having to move everything online after the winter break. But we're going to cross that finish line, and you've all been really great. Once again, if I haven't heard from you, and some of you I haven't heard from since like the end of March, please get in touch with me. I'm going to have to put together a list for the dean. So I appreciate that, and Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you in another semester. When I have all my projects set up as movie files, I'm going to open up a brand new project. I'm going to open up a brand new composition, and I'm going to name that final project my name, Julian. So it's Final Project Julian. Okay, I'm going to click open and pull all of these in. Now, I have kept it at a 720 by 480. All right. And I also set my frame rate to 29.97. And the reason is because I actually had video footage that was of that same frame rate. And I didn't want to say this is going to be a 24 frame rate when I knew that I was going to import something that actually had a frame rate of 29.97. Okay, so let's go ahead, drag all those into my composition down here, and find that I'm going to set those all up one after another. Okay, so this is my first layer is project 1, and I might go ahead and set that about 4 seconds in. And the reason is I'm going to give myself a title. Okay, and then I'll bring this out, and we're going to pull project 3 and move project 4. I always like to have them stair-stepped going up. Okay, you can see that this particular size file is a little bit big here. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to check all of these here and find that I might have to bring them all down in the size of the file, so to speak. Let's go ahead and bring that up down here. Yep. All of them that I did by 1440 by 1080, I'm going to have to downsize the dimensions here. And it looks like I'm going to end up with 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So I'm going to go up and change my composition settings to do that. So I originally had 40 seconds there, but we're going to pull it down to 15. There we go. And that gives me enough room at the end to put the end. So let's go to our first comp, and that one's following pretty good. I can see the edges good. Let's go to the second, and that one is the same. This one, oh, looks like I'm going to scale it just to see. Nope, it was fine. Fine. This one, however, is going to have to be scaled downward. There we go. And I believe the last one is going to have to be scaled downward. There we go. So all I have to do now is, I didn't put a final project in on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and create some text. And let's just size a little bit. And let's go ahead and that's not going to look too good. I'm going to bring a different one in. So we'll leave this. I'll make it a little bit bigger. And let's grab a different typeface for my CIS. One that's a little bit more readable at the capital letters here. 1720. And I'm just going to put a winner 220 there and bring that on down. Maybe I'll change them all to copper plate. Look a little bit better. Good. Let's go ahead and get my title action safe just to make sure that I'm getting things centered. Copper plate bold. I have to bring that down. And I'm going to switch these around. I'm actually going to put this up here and this down here. And each one of these is 4. And this is where you can get a little bit fancy. I'm going to go ahead and set up a duplicate file on this, and we'll leave the top one. Actually, we'll move the copy to the bottom there, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my 4-color gradient here and put it on the top of that. Let's go ahead and move my colors in. And I'm going to also put a bevel on that. So let's go ahead and bevel alpha. Cool. And then of course on the background of that I am going to put my radial fast blur. I use some of these techniques that we used throughout the semester. Note that my center here is down because of the whole page here. So I'm just going to go ahead and move my center so that it's fitting right in the center of that. Good. And let's go ahead and bring the rate down, turn the amount on, and bring that up as we bring everything to its full brightness. And I'm going to do brightest still. Good. All right. That's the only one I'm going to do. And we'll play that. Now, it would be nice to have a little introduction to each one. You know, I'm going to look at your project 1, and then your project 2, and then your project 3, and then your project 4, and then project 5, then ultimately the last one, and then it's going to go to the end. I'm not a big fan of saying thank you for watching, but I'm not opposed to putting in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and seeing how I've already have my Edward script down here for my name, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate that file. We'll bring it up to the top here, and I'm going to bring it back down into the 4 seconds. Drag it up here, and I think I'm going to leave my name there. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit smaller. And bring it down. Let's duplicate this and bring it up. We're actually going to type in the end. Let's go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. It would be really great to go up and set up a mask over this to bring it in. I'm thinking I'm just going to go ahead and use one of our animated text scripts, if you will, one of our presets. Let's go back to the presets here, down to text, and animate in, and see if I can find something I like here. Go ahead with the typewriter. I don't think we're going to have enough room. Oh, we do. Good. And then I'm going to move this in, just so that by the time it comes down to the end, there it is. And I probably don't have too long on this. Duration is almost 2 seconds. There we go, 2 seconds. And that'll work. All right, that's the end of this portion. I'm going to go ahead and set up for you to see how I add the music file, okay? And this is going to be placed out on D2L first, so the music file will come along in a little bit.